syringe with immersis and purses, but been diagnosed from birth. They've been tripping on, they've been run skirt. Even all hoes avoid me. I got niggas afraid of it. I got niggas cold with the cold feet, unhappy feet. Because 24 hours isolated, 24 cage in a month, 24-hour watch. I am a cage. I want out. Go for a Wolverine claws. Just get out. Just get out. 24 hours. 24 hours with the switch. 24 hours with the switch. 24 hours with the 24 hours with the isolation. Yeah. Yeah. Skirt. Baby. I got called with that exorcism, thinking differently. Not of a sheep, of a scary independent.
Let's turn that off. Turn it off. But you gotta understand, the games come out in their holiday rush. Every game except for the free games, the PSN Plus games. But like every console game, even PC games, you know, usually come around the holiday, and understandably so. That's the day to buy video games, you know, since most grown-ass adults own a console. Even the ones you don't think plays video games, everybody now plays video games. And there's even people my gray's age who plays video games. It's like, it's mandatory to put on the holidays. Alright.
Hold on. Perhaps it comes. Hey.
Alright, what's up, my archers of chaos? It's your king of the night, Vince Valentine EX Turk. And, I'm here to talk about, the beef between, what happened in the beef between Nomura and Tabata. Now, again, this is when, you know, with Hajime Tabata, he's left Square Enix, but for people who don't know, you know, for people who don't know what happened in between the two, this is actually what happened between the two. Square Enix took pretty much the shorter than the straw, took Final Fantasy 15 from Nomura, because this was Nomura's baby. Gave it to Hajime Tabata because Nomura wanted to push it in for one more release. And the problem with pushing it in for one more release, you know, and stuff like that is, you know, first of all, video games come out during the holidays because it's a mandatory day for video games to be released. Even if you're a PC gamers, it makes no difference. People want their games during the holiday. I don't blame them. Video games are like Star Wars films. They're supposed to come out in the holiday. It's a tradition now. You know, it's a tradition, and you know they have to do it. Nomura wanted to put the full story. I'm pretty sure if this was run by Nomura, they wouldn't be half the DLC, because the DLC would be included, you know, period. But yeah, under Nomura's direction, but Nomura wanted to push it back to complete the game because it wasn't complete. Unfortunately, with Tabata's direction, it ended up being a microtransaction for the rest of the story, so you had to pay extra money. But for people who are very interested in this, the Final Fantasy 15 has now become like one of the most popular forms of any Final Fantasy media, even more than Kingdom Hearts 3. And I know I say that loosely, but it's kind of true. So, you know, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that, yes, so it's mandatory for that to happen. So Square Enix actually just took it away from Nomura just to re-release it and repackage it in the repackage it as, you know, Final Fantasy 15. Yes, the game was shorter. The ending wasn't satisfied. Yeah. Yes, she is. You know, But anyways, yeah, they wanted to repackage it, and you know, as Final Fantasy 15. Plus, it was going to come out in the if they would have pushed it back one more time, Final Fantasy 15 wouldn't have the life it has, because people would lose interest, and I don't blame people for losing interest. You know, I would lose interest, and as big of a Final Fantasy fan I am, I would lose interest if they kept pushing it back. So, understandably, they had to give it to Tabata. Granted, you know, I like the way Nomura runs things, but that's why in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's halfway completed, because he's learned his lesson. He didn't want Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake be taken from him again, because, understandably so, as an artist, that would upset me, considering I put my soul in everything. That'd be like if someone took the Vincent Valentine trailer that I'm going to be, you know, putting up on YouTube, hopeful web series, and then they have creative direction in it because I don't do what I need to do and release it at the right time. So I understand, but you know, but I'd be upset too. So I don't blame Nomura for being upset. In fact, Nomura has every right to be upset, but understand, like, you know, video games are different because they're supposed to come out during holiday. It's almost a holiday itself to have video games, you know, come out, you know. So it's almost a holiday, and for it to not come out at the right time, you know, it pisses people off, and that's where it's happened. So he tried to keep Final Fantasy characters out of Kingdom Hearts 3 in spite Tabata, even though Final Fantasy characters are very mandatory in the Kingdom Hearts lore. But that's the real reason why you don't see Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts, is because Nomura is pissed at Tabata. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's one of the only people that was happy that Tabata left Square Enix, you know. Plus, the fan base of Nomura fan base pretty much chased Tabata out of there because how Final Fantasy 15 turned out. Even though it's still a good game, irregardless of microtransaction, irregardless of the story, you know, and the last cut DLC that pretty much didn't matter as much as Episode Arta did. But either way, it's still a good game nonetheless. But it does explain why there's no Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 3, and why in the trading card game it took so long to even get one character, which was Noctis, into the card game, you know, which is still going to take a long time to get the rest of the characters for 15. But, you know, pretty much that's the whole story with the beef. Square Enix took Final Fantasy 15, gave it in the hands of Tabata. Nomura was not pleased because that was his baby. And understandably so, because your art is your baby. And this is why Kingdom Hearts don't have no Final Fantasy characters, to prevent any kind of future alterations with Noctis. So this is pretty much why and how the beef started. So may the crystal be with you. To do what he did, and smash that like button.
We don't no longer get along anymore. Now it's time to. I need some space from you. I need space from you, girl. The Final Fantasy Ultimania guide. This will actually pretty much tell you everything about the Final Fantasy universe. This is Volume 2, which contains the games of 7, 8, and 9. And the first one contains the ones before that. It has, like, artwork, guides, everything. Even the original artwork, the universe, the story, everything is supposed to be. Everything that's in the Final Fantasy universe is in these guides. So don't forget to go to Barnes & Noble and pick yourself up the Final Fantasy Ultimania.